Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. President William Ruto completed his US tour in style. He was hosted to a very colorful dinner in the White House by none other than the President of the USA himself, Joe Biden. Of course, you all know by now that Joe Biden is the person who worked hard to ensure that Ruto was declared the President of Kenya. And then he also secured several investment deals. And the Kenya Kwanza adherents are very, very happy. Of course, they were celebrating 60 years, 60th anniversary of US Kenya ties. They have enjoyed a very cordial relationship for over 60 years. And that only means one thing, that this relationship was supposed to be a symbiotic relationship, not a parasitic kind of, where Kenya gains, US gains. Now, what has been reported so far are the gains that Kenya will get out of this tour. William Ruto, of course, had a host of other leaders and politicians. And one of the things, in fact, I was looking at what has been posted by State House himself. They are very happy because, being invited for a state visit in the White House is something that comes in a lifetime. US will soon go for an election. Ruto is not very sure whether Joe Biden will be re-elected. And so it was a golden opportunity to, so to speak. We are being told that, first of all, this journey was really surrounded by a lot of controversy. There are people who are saying that William Ruto hired a royal jet that they say will cost 2.4 million Kenya shillings per hour. If that is true, then that is the height of wastage that we have never seen. But you see, it will be defended by the kind of investment opportunities that William Ruto has secured. We are being told that the president has secured, is it trillions of shillings? Among the things that were being shown is that President Ruto has secured about a half a billion Kenya shillings worth of investment to construct Nairobi Mombasa Expressway. That is big, if you ask me. Of course, let us agree on one thing. Most of these are pledges and they've been spread over the years. Some of them are going as far as 5 years, 6 years. The money will be given in bits. So he secured about half a billion Kenya shillings to construct Nairobi Expressway. And I'm being told, I've seen this on social media, it's really trending, and they're saying that this is going to be 22 kilometers longer than the Nairobi Expressway. He secured 198 million Kenya shillings to support electoral reforms. I don't know what that means. I don't know what reforms, because currently Kenyans are still asking the IEBC to open the servers for 2022. And of course, there are a lot of reforms that are needed there. So there's 198 million Kenya shillings. There is William Ruto has been given 150 armored vehicles by September. Like I said, this has been spread over. So by September, he will start receiving about 150 armored vehicles to help in security. He secured 3.5 billion Kenya shillings for Kenya literacy program for grade 1 to grade 3. He secured some 8 Hias helicopters. It was said that for the security in the neighborhood, Kenya will receive 291 million Kenya shillings to improve prisons. He also secured 924 million Kenya shillings for police reforms. And of course, there is 5.8 billion for democracy, human rights, and governance programs. I don't know what kind of democracy we are talking about. And there are some other millions that he has secured to fight corruption. Someone was saying that, how do you give Kenya money to fight corruption? Because he was claiming that the other name for Kenya is corruption. And some people feel that this money is going into people's pockets. Now, I want us to answer one question, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, this relationship is supposed to be symbiotic, where Kenya gains and US gains. So far, we have been told how Kenya is going to gain. But why aren't we being told? Because it was an anniversary to celebrate the kind of cordial relationship that Kenya and US have enjoyed. So how does US stand to gain? This is hidden and they are not telling us anything. It is much hyped what we have gained, and I think William Ruto must be a very proud president, because if all this is secured in that visit, then we must give it to him. The people who gave him this power have also ensured that it is coming with goodies. But how does the US stand to gain? And that is what I want us to look at, ladies and gentlemen, as we delve into the hidden treasure, if I call it, how US stands to gain. Allow me to request you to subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you when we release a video like this. To all our subscribers, returning subscribers, and those who support the channel, allow me to thank you in a very, very special way. Without you guys, the channel would have not been where it is now. Ladies and gentlemen, number one, you all understand that there is a mad rush to recolonize Africa. There is that scramble for Africa. This is now the second one. The other one was that scramble when the machinations, all the superpowers came and they divided Africa into pieces and they allocated themselves which countries in Africa to colonize. Africa fought and they gained independence. But the neo-colonialism is even worse than colonizing Africa itself, because now the superpowers are using our own leaders, the leaders that we elect, or the leaders that they give us, because they have infiltrated our electoral reforms, our electoral processes, and they give us leaders that will champion their cause. And in this mad rush, the superpowers are the Eastern superpowers and the Western, the capitalist versus the socialist or communist. As US was giving William Ruto all these goodies, one thing that they stand to gain is that they have locked out the Eastern superpowers from Kenya completely. This is why they ensured that they gave William Ruto victory. Immediately William Ruto got to power, you are aware, for those who follow the Kenyan politics, that Russia gave William Ruto some free fertilizer. This is in a bid to try and win the support of Kenya. There are some loans from Korea, some loans from China. But you all know that Russia, China, Korea, those Eastern superpowers are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that they secure and maintain a stronger relationship between them and the African countries. So America will gain by ensuring that they have locked out completely the Eastern powers, China, Russia, Korea, name them, Iran, and all that. And this is big for them because strategically and geographically speaking, Kenya sits in a position where it will be gainful and will be very significant for any superpower that secures loyalty. In terms of satellite monetization, Kenya stands at a very strategic point or strategic positions. It is the entry into the East African countries, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and all those. Kenya stands big. So US has locked out the Eastern nation. That is one way they have gained, and they are not telling us that, because I know William Ruto assured them of his support. You can take that home. Number two, Joe Biden has officially appointed William Ruto their mouthpiece and their representative in East Africa and Africa at large. They have always wanted someone who's loyal to them. I know they've always worked with people like Museveni, Paul Kagame. There are deals that they have done together. But for the very first time, US got a loyal president. Some people say a puppet who will do whatever they want. And you remember when William Ruto was first elected and he took out of office, some other presidents were calling him a new Pan-Africanist, and they thought that William Ruto would stand firm to fight for the rights of Africans, only to realize that this is a man who will always orchestrate and fight for the rights, stand for the rights or the benefits of the USA in Africa, whatever Joe Biden wants. And so this means, I know they appointed him earlier, but this is a confirmation. They have asserted that it is a vote of confidence that this is the person that will represent us in Africa. Because you remember, William Ruto was singled out in one of the US summits when Joe Biden praised him for trying to maintain peace within the region and acknowledging the fact that William Ruto had volunteered to head the Haiti mission, peacekeeping. William Ruto has always tried to secure a truce between the warring parties in Sudan, but one of the parties rejected him. And so that recognition has been reasserted again. The US have reiterated their support, their love, and trust for William Samoei Ruto. So anything that they want to happen in Africa, William Ruto will be used. And that is how they also stand to gain. When others refuse to take that action, for example, I don't think there is any other African country that would have accepted to lead a peace mission in Haiti, a land that is more than thousands of kilometers from the country, but William Ruto accepted. So they also stand to gain in that line. They have a representative who will do everything they want without any question. Number 3, when William Ruto got to power, there were things that he signed. And I've mentioned and I have mentioned this every now and then. The LGBTQ, same-sex marriage, gay and lesbian and all that. This is something that Africa has rejected. In fact, if you look at our neighbor, Uganda, Museveni signed the anti-gay law. And this really had them rubbing shoulders in a very rough way with the US. In fact, IMF stopped their aid and the assistance that they were giving to Uganda. But Museveni said that he cannot compromise their rich culture and tradition just to please Joe Biden. And he remained firm. But William Ruto accepted this through the Supreme Court. Genetically modified organisms. When Uhuru was in power, there was a suspension of the GMO consumption, but William Ruto lifted that immediately. And so I'm sure that as they sat down in what has not been reported, William Ruto reported the advanced stages that they are at to ensure that we start consuming GMO, because US is looking for a rich market for the GMO. Most of the GMO farmers are in the US, and they wanted William Ruto to allow them to dump their GMO into the country. There have been meetings with Bill Gates. There have been meetings between William Ruto and Bill Gates on this. And I know William Ruto reported the progress of the arrangements that they are making to ensure that we start importing GMO. Someone was telling me that we started importing GMO a long time ago through the back door. I don't know. But I'm sure they put the final touches, because William Ruto was also going to report on what he has done. Joe Biden fulfilled his part of the bargain to ensure that William Ruto became the president. They also ensured that they talked to Raila to allow William Ruto to implement all their agendas. And so Raila is out of the picture. So it is William Ruto's turn. And that's why he was given even more of these deals. So they are going to talk about the GMO, the LGBTQ, the IMF loans. You will not see William Ruto going for loans in, I don't know, Iran and China and Russia. You do you remember that when Russia organized for the Russia African Summit, William Ruto refused to go. Neither did he send any representative. In fact, prior to that meeting, US had sent some trade delegations into the country, a trade delegation to ensure that William Ruto was not going to attend the Russian African Summit. So this is how they also stand to gain, because all their dictates, loans, because they want us to remain slaves to the IMF and the World Bank, because they, as we gain this loan, they also give us the whatever they dictate how we want, they want us to govern ourselves. Retrenchment, they will tell us that the wage bill is so big, we need to retrench. They will tell Ruto, remove all the subsidies, add all the taxes, increase all the taxes and levies. And this is what William Ruto is going to do. And so even as we look at the billions and trillions of shillings that we are told William Ruto has secured, of course, they are all promises. It is like a promissory note. And Kenya has to ensure that this money comes. How is Ruto going to ensure that he receives this money? By ensuring that he implements all the dictates, all the agreements between himself and the US. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in my very considered opinion, America is going to get more and more of these projects. Maybe the person or the company that will be given the contract to construct that expressway, now that the US has given out this money, will be a US contractor, because it cannot go to any other person. So US also stands to gain, and US will gain big. Joe Biden is going to gain more than Kenyans. I know we have hyped in terms of monetary program what we're going to get, but William Ruto has really given in to the US. If you ask me, US has gained more than Kenya has gained. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.